And that's for lifting, unloading. Also, to do instruction, you really need 2 instructors, okay? It's always nice when you get a volunteer as well who can help out. And that's what I was saying, why they can kind of become the person who holds your pack for you. Yeah. Well, with all of our volunteers, giving them something, they're like, okay, well, this is what I do then. This is, you know, it helps.
They would, when I was volunteering all the time, they would let me push Sandy at the bottom, or push the student at the bottom.
Yep.
Because the instructor, to tell you the truth, they looked tired.
Yeah.
By the time they got down.
Yeah, and I'm sometimes the worst at it, where I'm like, oh, I got it, you know, I got it, and then at the end, but if you have the people to help, use them to help, you know. So it's also their chance to kind of feel the ski and get kind of an idea of what it is, you know. So as we're strapping in, you've got a strap over the boot, okay? You've got a strap over the lower legs. Think of these like in your boot. Just move your way up your boot to kind of see where the front loading is. You strap here at the waist. We have these 2 right here are optional depending on your student. Okay.
Well, and they said I could be the dummy today.
Huh?
They said I could be the dummy today.
No,
You're doing a good job.
We've already got 4.
You already got 4.
We've already got 4.
Oh man, this is no fun. I'm gonna go get it.
So
because it restricts the motion.
Because it restricts motion.
Mr. Tom.
Exactly. So if you have a student who is, you know, they've chosen the bi-ski because they're only going to do this once or twice.
No, with grandparents, enjoy.
You know,
I'll beat them up for
don't
you
strap this stuff in.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you can give it to them. Again, it's based on the student's need. They go, oh, you know what, I kind of want it. Well, do it then. You know.
The other trick is if they cannot reach over, pick something up and get themselves back up, they need to be strapped in. They need to be able to get their core back upright.
Exactly.
If they can independently get their core up and down, they don't have to be strapped in. And then you have to decide what the student is doing, what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, so that's a great point right there. So as you're strapping in, you know, there are different schools of thought. You could go across. You can go across is strong. You know, you have this thing here too. So if you couldn't get it across, you could go over each arm and then strap here. You know, again, these are all kind of based on comfort for the student, but also, you know, what
Body shape and
body shape. Make your best judgment. You know, this strap here is what Mark was just saying. It holds the student. If they don't have the core strength to stay up, that's a good one to kind of help them be upright. There are other pieces we use too. You'll notice that we have blue straps with like red Velcro on them. Those can be used to strap an arm in. You know, and for instance, for Carrie in particular, we strap one arm in. She has she has her arm in a sling, and then we strap it down, and that's for her safety. Because even though they may have the use of the arm, they may not have the strength in the arm, and if it's flailing here, it's not helping. You know, they need to be able to keep their hands together. Kind of like what Steve was talking about with snowboard position. You know, with your hands at your side, that's kind of where you want the hands here. You don't want them reaching out and trying to do something, because if they can do that, then
they should have outriggers.
They should have outriggers, okay? The other piece that's not on here is we have a bar that comes across, and for those students that don't want to be strapped in, yeah, it goes right in here, okay? It comes up, and it's a place to put your hands. For some students, they like that piece right there, and if they have trouble, you can tape their hands down to it. Again, that's where the duct tape just is your best friend sometimes, okay? On the Bi-Unique, so Sandy has, you know, this floppy head here. The Bi-Unique has a plastic piece that comes up that you can attach to the back here and strap around to keep the head straight. So for some students that have that, and we have students that use that, okay, where they come in, we strap the head, and then tape around it so their head is still. Because if they don't have the neck strength, you know, you want to be able. Again, that's restricting more motion for some students. So it's not something you do all the time, but it's more for safety of the student.
We're moving up in the world.
Yes. All right. So, questions about that?
There's a right and left to that.
You want to hold this still real quick? I'll show you the. This is normally done in.
Somebody forgot to do that.
Yeah.
See, I told
Make
you
sure
about
you're
those ones.
make sure you don't have things hanging. Okay. So even if they are not using something, you want to strap it in so it's not out there.
What's the red for?
The red is for the evac.
Okay.
So if we have to evac, you need to be able to get to those.
Yeah. And you really want to do it beforehand, so you're not doing this.
Yep.
Which is trying to find the one on that side. So imagine yourself up in the chairlift
And fishing and you
and
don't have
trying
the
to get this out.
Well, let's show real quick. Hold them both out. Now ski patrol can do a lift to back.
It's a 3-point.
Yeah,
Lock
and
carabiner.
Yep.
And if you lifted it up, it would be centered.
Carabina's on the one between her legs. Can you put that back?
You don't. I wouldn't stuff. What I like to do with that is just attach right here.
So it is visible.
It's visible, easy to find. These should go right here, and you should usually
Is
see
there
the
anything
red.
wrong with putting it here?
No, but hot spots or other things, you know.
Okay.
I find right there it's easy to find, and it's just it's not hitting anything.
I'm just wondering how easy it is to lift on, to get to on the lift.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting right here. You can pretty much reach anything that you need.
We can try it on the lift.
Yeah.
Can we talk for a minute on placement? Since we're dealing with this, placement on a toxic shock.
The leg
bag, the catheter?
The bag.
The catheter?
Yeah, for yeah, I know what I'm talking about. So always that comes in your lesson evaluation whether or not they have a leg bag or something like that. Make sure it's not pinched. So if it's sitting here, you want to talk to the student and have them let you know where it is.
Generally going to be on the inside of the thigh, right? Inside of the thigh or on the lower leg.
Yeah,
And
you
then
just
the
want to make
catheter.
sure you're not strapped over it.
Right, and that you're not pinching the knees
Not
together.
pinching the
on
knees.
it.
Yeah.
Would you ever put something between the knees to
Yeah.
keep the
Yep.
space?
Yeah, we have foam. We have tons of foam in there. Yeah, we do that. That's another place where duct tape helps.
So we've got to ask them where their catheter is, and are they going to be able to tell me it's pinched?
Oh, their aid will. No, they'll tell you when they go in this upper cup.
You just want to check. You know,
So
keep checking.
basically, so I'll tell you where it is, and it's their way of life, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's run on the inside of my leg down to my calf, and you just have to make sure whenever you place the student that you're not putting anything that pinches on it. So, and knees together would be one place you put a pin, and then you might want to put a piece of foam.
Yeah, and again, that's student by student. You know, it's part of your assessment with each student and part of your. The best thing to think of every time you're setting up a student, you're setting it up for that student. You know, and that's why taking good notes about how I set it up. Did I have to put a piece of foam underneath the left cheek, under the right cheek? Those become really helpful because it's balance. You know, if you've got a student who is overly developed on one side, you know, and you don't put anything there, they're always going to be leaning to that side. So you put the foam in there, it balances out the ski.
So we did a movement analysis for the double amputee at Breckenridge, part of the clinic I took. And not only a double amputee, he also had a pelvectomy, so he had no right side of his pelvis. So there was no mass at all, no hip, no whatever in that side. And part of the analysis was, you know, the instructors probably should have padded it in more with stiff foam to give him the width to ski in the ski. So he fit fine, but he couldn't control to the right as well. He had
There's
to,
a pocket to go to. There's an empty space to go
there's
to.
an empty space. And it's just like having your boots loose. You know, you
I was
couldn't
gonna
go
say,
to,
do you custom fit your boots?
Of course.
Yeah. Do you custom fit your boots?
Yep.
Custom fit your boots? Same thing.
That's been explained to me before. That this is their boot.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why every time when we're strapping up, I try to envision my boot as I go up it and think about strapping it. Yeah. I mean, if you kind of remember that and kind of, and I said it the wrong way in the last clinic where I said normal skiing, you know, but if you just equate it to your skiing, everything that you're doing with them, think about how it works in my own skiing, you know, you'll be better off.
You know, in the PSIA world order.
Yeah, it's not a bug.
Seat or a shell. Not a bucket.
What do they want to call a bucket?
It's derogatory.
Yeah.
Derogatory. You're throwing somebody in a bucket skiing down.
Yeah, a shell sounds a lot.
And it's actually probably more
Sounds like going to the beach.
So last thing before we get on, this is your pin. Now make sure that's pulled so that you can get on.
I've been with a couple of very experienced people that forgot to pull that.
Yep.
And we always here put the pin in because that mechanism is expensive, and if you wipe out the wrong way, it can get torqued.
It can break that, but it can also hurt your student. Yeah. You know, it's just like skiing without your binding attached. All right, so we'll attach our tethers on this ski. It's pretty easy here. Some of the skis, they'll already have tethers attached to them. Yeah, but make sure you have good tethers. This is your safety strap for the lip. Okay. I don't like to hook it on students. I know some people do. I like to hold it, you know, and just hook it on, make it as. Again, you're just thinking about things that.
Do you want a dowel or in? Do you want to show that? Is that an extra knot? No.
Yeah, because it's a
split. No.
So that's your hook. You know, it's your backup. Once you get knocked, and it's nice just to keep your hand on it on the lip, just to be aware. The reason I don't like to hook things on the student or hold other things or a lot of those things is they're already being watched by everyone else on the.
Yeah,
everybody is watching the entire time. So things that just kind of this is just natural and go. And think, you know, that it's just empathy, you know. All right, you ready to go?
Talk a little bit about outrigger.
Outrigger placement.
Outrigger placement.
Okay. All right. So outrigger placement is for the run, but also for the ability of the student. Okay. So if you're starting off brand new bi-skier, never done it before, you're going up to this run up here.
You're going out all the way.
You're going out all the way to start. Do you want to adjust this one?
Sure.
Now the outrigger placement, that's you cannot turn it sharper than that. That's happened to Jim on Lower Blue Street. They went out to the clinic, outriggers are out too far, and they could not turn it far enough on Lower Blue Street.
Yep. Yeah, so that's where choice of where you are, choice of, you know, the ability of the student, you know, and then, you know, the placement of this, it all comes into
Out
play.
too far? Or
Yeah, too far.
Out
so,
too far.
So, like right now, you have
And
it.
you've got a very limited amount of
She can't turn.
So right now, I can make it turn like that. And that's all. I can't make it any sharper. I cannot angulate it. That's a pretty big turn.
So the radius cannot be any closer.
I can't get her through there.
Jim couldn't control.
Huh?
Jim couldn't control.
So that's on this flat terrain with the outrigger that far, that's my radius. Okay? On steeper terrain is that radius, is that turn on low boost rate for intermediate training going to be enough to slow you down? How fast are you going to go? If this is the fall line here, how fast are you going to get going before you start finishing the turn? Pretty darn fast.
And so with that, and part of the mistakes that happen with that is we bucket steer too much when they're out. Stand too close. You cannot do an emergency stop when you're bucket steering. You know? So
I can't hockey pass from this position.
no, you can't. It's
Unless you've got
impossible.
skis that are this long.
No.
But even then, you can't. You can't hold on. So
You need to be.
that's why as soon as you get off,
Because you're no longer even attached to the tethers, right?
well, that's the other thing. You want to make sure as soon as you get off, first thing you do, get over and get attached. Okay. Now coming straight off the lift, if you notice that it's there and there's a whole gaggle of people right there, you're better off telling the lifter to stop the lift, okay, and slowly get off. So right here, as you're coming in, you've got to be able to, in that case, let out the tether and put on the stop right away. And that's not always an easy move. All right. Sound good? You guys ready to go? I like to talk on the hill. There's not many people.